All right, so today we're going to work on graphing the functions that we've been looking at, okay? So first of all, I want you to take a look at the ones on your worksheet. They're up here on the board as well. And I'm doing this for a reason because you all have your calculators. I'm going to show you how to get the tables from your calculators, which we've done before. But I want you to then take them and graph them, okay? All right, so some things to think about. Remember our little chart? We had positive, negative, even, and odds, right? If it's positive and even, both ends go where? Up. Both will go up. If it's odd and positive, left goes down, right goes up. If it's negative and even, go down. And then it just reverses on the odds. Okay? All right, so keep that in mind because that will help you graph these functions as we are looking at them, okay? So we have the other thing you need to think about. They've given you the functions in what form? Oh, somebody go wiggle my mouse.
Vertex.
I got it.
Stand. Intercept form.
This is intercept form. Thank you. Okay, so that means these are intercepts. Intercepts are also called our
Zeros.
or
Solutions.
yes, or x-intercepts
Roots.
or roots. Good job. Okay, so here's the idea. If you have a positive factor, you're going to have a negative root, or negative 0, right?
Yep.
Okay, so your positive factor, the highest, the largest positive you have, if you take the opposite of that, that's your farthest left 0, correct? Okay, so what you want to do when you get to the start part on your calculator, you have to put the function in. It says, where do you want to start? You're going to want to start on the opposite of your largest positive factor. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay, so also, when you're looking at this, what kind of function is this going to make? You have x times x.
X squared.
What is that? What kind of function is that? Say it.
Quadratic.
Quadratic, very good. What about if you have x minus 3 squared and then another x? What power of x is that going to be?
Third.
X to the third. So what kind of function is this? Say it, Heaven. You almost had it. Come on, say it.
I don't say it.
Cubic. Cubic. Yeah, that's cubic. Good. Okay. Look at that. What about number 20? What about 22? X cubed, x, and x.
X to the fifth.
X to the fifth. Okay. So it's still odd. It'll look kind of like a cubic. It'll just have a little more wiggle waggle to it. Okay. Here, what are we going to have here?
Cubic.
Cubic. Okay. So just take a look at those. Make sure that'll be a cubic. That'll be a cubic. There's a to the fifth power. This is to the third power. What about this one over here?
To the third.
To the third. 19.
Third.
What about 21?
Fourth.
To the fourth. That's a quartic. Okay? So it's going to look kind of like a quadratic. Both ends are going to be going in the same direction. So that's just something I wanted to point out. So you have to think about those characteristics of these functions as you're graphing them. Okay? So now I'm going to go back and I'll show you the calculator on the screen. Okay?
Let's do it on screen now.
All right. So the calculator's open. And we're going to put it next to here. I'm hoping that the shadow and the glare are not too bad for you. All right. Now, you guys have done this before. Who remembers how to put the function into the calculator? First of all, what do? Turn it on.
Turn it on.
Turn it on. If it's already in a table, hit second quit. And that'll take you right out of there. All right. How do we get to the table?
The table button.
Press the table right next to the clear button. Okay, press the table. If you already have a function in there, what should you do? Clear. Clear once, not twice, because it takes you back to the.
Do you not want me to use this one?
No, I'm not gonna use that one right now. You can't use that one.
I don't know.
I just want to show you that. Okay.
Okay.
I'd like you to use this one in the meantime, though, then, so that unlike my tests, I don't care which one you use, but you'll know how to use that one. Okay.
All right.
All right. Okay, so everybody's on the y equals with flashing cursor, right?
Yep.
All right, how do we enter this equation? Do we need to FOIL that out, or can we enter it the same as it's written?
Enter it the same.
Enter it. Enter it, just like it's written. So parenthesis, your x is right next to the 4, minus 4, end parenthesis, and then do it again, x plus 1. End parenthesis. We don't have to sit there and FOIL that out to get an equation or anything. We can just type it in as given. Okay? Hit enter. Okay, so looking at that function, what was our highest positive value?
One.
1, so we're going to use the opposite of that, which is what?
Negative one.
Negative 1. Make sure you use the negative, let me scroll this up a second. Make sure you use this white negative key down by enter, okay? And not the minus sign to do that, okay? So you're going to hit negative 1. Your step can be 1, that's fine. So you're just going to hit enter until you get to the table. Now, the nice thing about these calculators are, even if you start at negative 1, but you want to see where negative 2 is, you can scroll up to negative 2. Okay?
Wow.
And you can, so if we go 1 past our farthest left-hand 0, which was negative 1, we get an idea of which way the graph should be going, which we know already because look at number 16. Is it a positive or negative quadratic? It's positive, right? So both ends should be going where? Up. Very good. All right, so now what you're going to do, let me get my paper, sorry.
All right.
You are going to graph this. Oh, yes, and I forgot to hand out graph paper, didn't I?
Yeah.
I'll do that real quick. I apologize, I forgot to hand that out.
So
Yeah, that's all you have to do.
That's all you have to do?
Yeah, you betcha.
You're going to write the table next to the graph, just straight from the calculator. Pass those up. Take one, pass it up.
They're drawing. Where's the L
Pass it
at?
up.
I didn't know there was an L in drawing. Drawing.
Take one and pass it up.
I'm a
I know, I kind of know that.
entrepreneur.
Do you want that one?
Fine, there's going to be extra because I can't get my card.
Yeah, there's this freshman at tryouts.
You have 3.
I'm like,
Wait, I
I
want
totally call ball.
Okay,
And you write
pass,
it.
plate, pass the paper. Plate, pass the paper. All right, so
So mad.
pay attention to the screen still, please. Okay, notice I've got part of my graph paper there. I'm trying to get rid of you.
I'm gonna eat it.
Back up.
All right,
It's all done.
just leave them there. We don't need them.
Nice.
Okay, so copy, hey, guys. Copy the table down. This is number 16. I want you to put the table right next to the graph. Here's your x values, here's your y values. Now, isn't it nice to be able to use this technology?
So,
Because otherwise, you would have to sit here and plug in negative 2 for both the x minus 4 and x plus 1 and get an answer. Okay? So this, if you use the calculator, there's a lot less room for error. The calculator does all the calculating for you. All right, so let's do negative 2, 6, sorry. Negative 1, 0, 0, negative 4. And then scroll down. 1, 2, and 3 at negative 6, negative 6, negative 4.
I thought we only had to do like 5.
And then 4. Well, we're going to do a little bit more than that, and I'll tell you why.
Because the graph is retarded if you don't.
Okay?
wow.
Well,
Judgment.
Olivia has a point. I wouldn't necessarily call it retarded, but the graph,
Close enough.
guys, the more points you graph, the better idea you have of where it's going to turn and where it's going to go up and down at. Okay, now this is a quadratic, so this isn't that important. You could have done the 5 points in the middle with your 2 zeros, and you would be fine. But even so, it's good practice to graph more than just 5 points. You get a pretty specific graph, okay? So once you've got your table, go ahead and graph your points. By the way, this is every quadrant of this graph is 7 by 7. This will not fit all of the functions you're going to do today. You are going to have to scale your graph, probably the y-axis, not the x, okay? So there's a couple that go up into the hundreds where you actually have to do the y-axis, every box is 100. Okay, so just think about that. It's not labeled for that very reason, so that you can scale it as appropriate for what you're graphing, okay? All right, so this one can just be scaled 1 to 1. So negative 2, positive 6, it goes up to 7, so it's the one from the top. Negative 1, 0, 0, negative 4, negative 1, negative 6, negative 2, negative 6, 3, negative 4. The nice thing about quadratics is they're symmetrical, right? 4, 0, and 5, 6. It's okay. No, I'm just gonna say it keeps turning off, so it's fine. Is it going again?
Yeah, it's going.
Okay. All right. So what happens between the negative or the positive 1 and the positive 2 at -6?
Maybe like a little
Is it a straight line?
No.
What is it, Taryn? Yeah, it makes a tiny little curve down there. Now, it didn't tell us that on our graph, on our table, did it?
No.
How could we find it on the calculator?
Doing like points.
Yeah, reduce the step. Thank you, Matt. We're going to come back and reduce the steps. If you want to, go back to table, hit enter, go down to step, and make it 0.5. And then enter, back to the table, and notice what it gives you at 1.5.
How do you get back to step from here?
Just press clear.
Press table. Press table. No, just, you can hit clear or you can hit table. It doesn't matter.
Okay,
Do you want me to show you again? Look, if I just went back to table,
Okay.
and then I hit enter, and then I
1 and
can move the cursor down to step and change it to 0.5.
You got it.
Okay? And then hit enter back to your table, and look what happened. Right between 1 and 2, I have 1.5, and that gives me my vertex at just over -6. So I can put a little dot there so I know where my curve goes, okay? And then, you guys never knew that connecting the dots in kindergarten would apply to high school, did you?
No.
Okay, so connect your dots, make sure it's curved because a quadratic doesn't have straight lines.
Ms. Kerr,
Okay? Yes?
your y equals 6, that's 4, 6, not 5.
Oh, I missed it, didn't I? I apologize, you're right, I did, thank you. I was counting wrong, sorry, thank you.
He deserves a lollipop.
You deserve a lollipop, is right. Thank you, I didn't notice. Yeah, be careful.
But Miss Kerr doesn't
Good
have
thing I used pencil on
lollipops.
that
She
one.
hates us.
Thanks, Matt. Also, make sure you put your arrows. This is not it doesn't end at the top of the graph, it keeps going. All right? That's it. That's proper graphing etiquette, you have the arrows.
Is that the end of the problem?
Okay?
Miss Kerr, you should give us rewards when we're smart.
I do, it's called an A. Well, that may not be when you're smart. You're all smart. I give you the A's. Anyway. All right. Let's do number 17 as well, okay? Everybody good with 16? Everybody understands how to do it on the calculator? All right, let's try 17. This is a cubic.
I can do that one by myself.
Okay? All right, well, let's try it. Plug it in. Or my paper, sorry. Okay, so all you have to do is, if you want to, you don't have to push clear. You can just push table and go back there and then hit clear to clear that function. And go ahead and put 17 in, just like it's written again. Where's our starting point for 17?
-4.
-4. Good job, Olivia. Thank you.
So what's the start
parentheses
step?
X minus 3, parentheses X plus 4, and
Start
parentheses X
-4?
plus 1.
What's the step?
Step can be 1 again. That's fine.
I don't know how can you tell what the start will be?
Oh, sorry, I did the wrong one. You did the opposite of your largest positive number. What's your largest positive number?
Oh, that's
function?
easy. Okay.
In the as a factor, okay?
4.
So start with -4.
Yeah.
It's just, then you start on your furthest left 0 and you can work right from there.
Yeah.
Okay? All right, so enter, step is 1. And then if you want to, you can go to -5 once you get to the table. But you don't really need to. I would look at it to see which way my line is going, but you should know that anyway based on the characteristics that you already know about these functions. Okay, this is a cubic, and it's positive, so the left end is going which way? Left end's going down, and then the right end will be going up. Remember, this is an odd positive, so they have opposite ends going in opposite directions. All right, so go ahead and copy that table next to your graph as well.
How many points?
What? 2 pages?
This is number 17. Now this one. Okay, take a look at all these numbers. Sam, pay attention. Take a look at all these numbers. Are you going to scale this graph the same way you scaled the first one? No. What do you think you'd do on the y-axis? You could go by 4s. You could go by 5s. You could go by 3s. You can choose. I did 5s. All it does is make it kind of squattier and fatter compared to 1-to-1. but you'll still see the turns, you'll still see what it's supposed to do. So it's up to you what you want to do on that one,
Do you
okay?
go down?
Hmm?
Do you go down?
Yeah, from the left-hand side, you're still going to negative infinity as you are on the left side of the graph. And the
Negative
right side of the
1.
graph will go to positive infinity. Okay?
0.
So go ahead and write the table down and start graphing.
1, negative 20. What?
Wait, 1 into negative 20?
Yeah, no, I'm not confused about
As
2.
I said, you're going to have to scale the graph.
No. 3. No, it just keeps going back to 0, so it's one of those ones that like curves up and down.
Yes,
Not
because it's
one.
cubic, remember, Ben?
Yeah.
So
Oh.
it's going to have, if it's cubic, how many turns, guys?
3.
No.
No, 2.
2, one less than the highest exponent,
If I
right?
said quadrant. They heard that joke.
All right, I'm going to do mine by 5, so
you're
mine might look
laughing
a little
right now.
different than yours, okay?
I'm laughing on the inside then.
Yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, I probably should go by 2s.
Peace.
I'm only changing the y-axis, guys. I'm keeping 1s on the x-axis. So I'm just changing the value of the y-axis scale.
So it'd be 5, 15, 20.
Let's, oh, so you leave, okay, go ahead. Go ahead, thanks, Johannes.
Am I getting all colored back?
Good luck.
Kinda.
Next time.
Well,
Don't feel it.
Where are you going?
Jazz festival.
Dang, dude. Good luck, man.
Are you playing? Are you playing instrument? No, you're just going.
Oh!
Oh, you're the photographer. All right. Well, good
Oh,
luck.
I
Have
was
fun.
gonna say, can I go too?
No.
You feel good on the bus? Yeah. I love
Yeah.
jazz.
I love jazz. Let's go.
So do I.
I know everything about it.
You should see me playing an instrument.
One time I picked up a guitar.
Okay, so again, make sure you connect all your dots.
One time, then I touched the guitar.
I saw one before.
Inappropriately or what?
Well, I was kind of, I accidentally stuck my finger.
This
in
is
the
like the
hole.
easiest thing we've done in like 5 years.
All right.
Drop my
You're
pick
playing
down.
it.
Drop my
Like
pick
5
down
years?
there one time.
Whatever.
Yeah, I was kind of playing it.
Playing with it.
Yeah, and then I dropped my pick in the hole.
Your battery's dead.
Battery's good?
Yeah,
I didn't hear any of that.
that much.
You can do
Well, I'll just give him what I can then.
Did it die already?
Did you play with
Right.
C
Hey
string?
guys, hey, up here. Hannah.
Yeah.
Hannah. John. Okay, this is a cubic. Now, sometimes we see cubics that just go right through here, right?
Hit
Okay.
that G chord hard.
If it has this vertex and another vertex, you guys know what those are called?
Vertex.
They're vertices, yeah, vertexes, vertices, okay? This particular one is called a local maxima, okay? Local because it's even within a certain range. So if I said find the vertex that is in the interval x equals, or x is between -5 and -2, if I did 4, -4 and -2, then you would find that vertex right there. Okay, so that's a local maxima. What would this one then be called?
Local.
Minima.
Minima. Yeah, local
Oh,
minima.
are
Very
you
good.
serious?
Yes, Jade, I'm serious. You got it
I
right.
just
So
guessed.
you would be in the interval between 0 and 2 would be your local minima. So a lot of times you'll see that, and we'll get into that a little bit more later on. You'll see them asking, find the local minima, or label the local minima or local maxima. What interval does it fall on? That would be where 0 is less than x, and x is less than or equal to 2. Okay, or 0 is less than or equal to x. Okay. So those are some other characteristics that you might look at
You know, this graph
on
is
these
like,
functions of quadratics, cubics, and quartics, okay? All right, so that's what number 17 should look like. Any questions on how to do this?
It looks retarded.
Okay? Yes.
How do you do this?
Camera turned off.
Okay, everybody okay with the calculator? Sammy?
How many numbers should we at least have?
I would go, notice this is my furthest left 0, 1 beyond the extremes.
Okay.
Just so you know where that graph is going.
Okay.
Okay, so go one beyond your 0 extremes for the function.
All right.
Okay, Olivia?
Are we ever gonna have a problem that has like both negatives, like it's all negatives?
Oh, you mean like the factors?
Yeah.
Yeah, you could.
So then like how do you know where to start if they're all negatives?
You want the lowest negative. No, I'm sorry, yeah, you pick your lowest negative and that would be your, but see if they're both negative, they're both gonna be on the positive side, right?
Yeah.
So if they're both positive, they're gonna be on the negative side. So you still want your highest one,
Okay.
because your highest one will give you your extreme on one side of the other. Does that make sense? Okay. All right, any questions about this? Okay, if you go home, yeah. Oh, on that calculator, yeah, I'll show you that. Do you want me to put it on the screen?
Yeah.
Okay, so everybody can see the graphing calculator, how to do it? I know we don't have them, but we can show you on things. That'd be awesome. Okay. Wiggle that mouse again.
And then it would show on the screen.
Are we dead yet, Greg?
That's my funny joke.
You ready to die yet?
First.
No, we're at.
Okay.
I'd be a first.
All right, so hey guys, pay attention to this. If you get,
What did Emma say?
then,
Sorry.
if you get a graphing calculator online like this, you can sometimes. So I want you to know how to do it as well. I have a few we can spread around and work with next week, but this, I'll show you how to do this. So you go to the y equals button, that's the table, or the function button, just like it is on our other calculator.
Oh, actually, I know how to do it.
And then you plug it in just like you did. X
I'm
minus
so
3,
stupid.
X plus 4,
Okay.
and X plus 1.
So head.
Okay? Now, you can graph that. What happens if our graph window isn't big enough? We can't see the local max or min, can we?
No.
Okay, so what you do is go to window. Pay attention. Go to window,
That one.
and you're going to change. Are you going to change your X's or your Y's?
X's.
No,
Y's.
Y's. The up and down. All right, so if we go to negative 20, actually this is 25, because what was our lowest one there? It was negative 20, so let's go to negative 25 just so we can see it. And our highest one was positive 12. So we can go to 15 here. We should be able to see it that way. All right, and then we graph it again, see if it works better this way.
Smile.
Oh, look.
Okay.
Okay, now we can see it all, right? All you do is change your window. How do you get a table on this calculator? Right?
Second table.
Yeah, you hit second table. So if you need a table, there it is.
What?
And then you're
You can get
good.
your table on this calculator as well.
That's why I bought it.
Okay? And these would be really nice if you all had one, but I know they're really expensive and we can't, so.
I have one,
You have one? Oh, you should use it.
but I don't know how.
I'll show you.
Well, I will tell you. I can help you. I don't know everything, but I do know the basics on it, okay? All right, so if you have one,
Oh,
bring it. and I'll
yeah,
help
the
you
exact one
understand
Mr. Keen has.
it. The other one, guys, is don't forget, we could always go to
First
where?
you gotta find the
Online.
Desmos.
Desmos. So
You can
if you're
change
not
the
sure,
batteries.
we can
That's
go
the
to
first thing you gotta
Desmos,
do.
And
Sorry.
then you check it.
Those things right there are batteries. That's what you gotta
Okay,
change.
hey, everybody's eyes on the board. Okay, see this little cog button? Okay, normally,
Oh shoot.
hold on.
Can't wait till the day's over.
Me too,
How do
dude.
I get, okay, I'll have to
This
do it again.
sucks.
This weekend's gonna be so
Well-
much fun.
Shh, please listen. Okay, if I had just put this in here with the equation, if there's no table underneath it, you would go to this little cog button, and you would see a little table, and it would say convert to a table, and it will convert the equation to a table for you. It will only give you 5, so I added the -3, -4, 3, and 4, just so I had enough points to see what I was doing there. Okay?
How nice is it?
So if I were to do a different one,
X
let's
plus
do-
1, X minus 4.
Huh?
X plus 1, X minus 4.
Yeah, I'm gonna do it right now. Yeah, so let's do number 18, just so you see how it works, okay? So we'll do x minus 3.
Can we do this one on the graph too? Like, or you
Yeah,
do it for us?
yep, you can do it here. Squared, and then it's x plus 2. Okay? And so notice that there's no table here, right?
Nope.
Okay? But you've got your graph, so you know what it does, right? How do I get the table to plot my points?
Hit the cog button.
Hit the cog button. Now what?
That left thing.
That little table thing says convert to table, click it, and voila, there's your
Voila.
table. If you want to add some points, if you're working with this at home, because you don't have a calculator at home, you can add the points to either side of that. I would go all the way to positive 3 and negative 2, right?
I say 0, 18.
It does say 0, 18, yes. I could redo it. Okay, so there's a couple of options. This calculator is the one very similar to what you will get on the AZ Merit computer test. This is the one that I was working with on the practice test. That's what they gave me.
Oh,
So you
AZ
should be
Merit's on
familiar with
computer.
how to work this one too. And you can even,
Sick.
if you, I don't know if it lets you convert to a table, but you can put a table in and work it that way as well.
So if AZ Merit's on computer, all the whole school can't do AZ Merit at once. How's it gonna work?
We're testing that.
Oh.
Yeah, we failed. It couldn't handle all of the computers going that we needed at once, so they're working on it and we're testing it again tomorrow.
No easy merit.
You're right. You're right.
Our school's too broke.
All right.
I had AZ Merit on a golf match, shot like crap.
This is kind of cheating. I'd like you to just do the table and then plot the points
Don't you know
and
what
work
that
on
means,
those characteristics of those graphs and make sure it's going the right way. Okay? All right, so I'd like you to work a little bit longer. Maybe do 8, well here's 18 and it's there, but try it on your calculators as well. If you have a graphing calculator like Ben did and you want to know how to do it, I'll come around and help you with that. We won't finish this today because not everybody has calculators to take home, so we'll finish this on Monday for sure. If you want to borrow a calculator, I will check one out to you. Otherwise, if you can get Desmos at home, you're welcome to use that. But I do require a table next to every graph. Okay? You need to put the table down for every graph that you do. So if you don't finish it today because you don't have the calculators, we'll work on it. It'll only take us about 10 minutes on Monday to finish that.